What's going on, everybody? Brandon Cruz here with the Brandon Cruz podcast, kicking it with my boy Nasty.
Let's
fucking
go.
Nathaniel.
Let's go.
Nasteezy. Dude, I remember the first time I met you was kind of like online, and
Just on a whim.
on a whim
On a whim.
from Buddy Jake, but I saw how many followers you had, and I was like, God damn it, dude! This guy's a stunt rider. He makes dope videos, and he has a bunch of followers. I wonder if he's a fucking asshole or if
I
he's
wouldn't
just
say a
super
bunch.
chill.
I wouldn't say a bunch.
Well, from the
feel you.
bottom of the totem pole
Okay,
perspective.
okay.
The fucking thousand, the measly thousand. I was like, oh fuck, man. I wonder if this is gonna be rough. But dude, you're so chill, man.
Hey, I appreciate it, bro. I feel like I don't really give a fuck about the internet.
I know.
Like it's so fugazi, bro. Like
Yeah,
it's
for
all
sure.
like. I heard this thing the other day. I was listening to Simon Sink. You know who he is? I hope I'm saying his name right. I'm not sure. He wrote the book Start With Why, and he talks about influencers and how like there's no real value like brought throughout whatever this internet influencer thing is. There's half the time like the followers are bought, the likes are bought. Like we look up to people that are doing nothing for humanity.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it's dope that they have followers when it's, like I said, it's all an image. Most of these people like are fucking depressed, and it's all of a highlight of what they want you to see, not what their life is really about.
Well, on I always fucking quote Joe Rogan, but
Mm-hmm.
he said everyone chooses to be their own PR agent, like to make
Yeah.
themselves look
Yeah.
the absolute best they can
Yeah, of course.
online on social
Yeah.
media, and it fucking baffles me because I've met like just filming and stuff like that.
Mhm.
You start getting introduced to different people
Yeah.
who are like, doing doper shit
Yeah.
and like have more followers and doing
Mhm.
that stuff. So I got introduced to some people out in Arizona that were like rocking like 90,000, 100,000,
Damn.
100,000 likes,
Mhm.
whatnot. And you just see like they're constantly just pushing content,
Yeah.
constantly
Yeah.
working, constantly doing their thing, which is, I mean, it's awesome and keep doing what you do. But at the same time, like I would sit down and talk to them and they'd be like, bro, like I feel like 90% of the time I'm doing this for nothing. Cause like, yeah, it's dope for, it's dope for being like a high school hot kid,
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, you're not really progressing towards, I mean, sometimes some people make money, sometimes they
Yeah.
can provide, but
Yeah.
like a lot of the times they're just doing this and like they're trying to make it and they're living this facade of
Yeah.
like how, like at what point does it get to where like I have enough followers to where I'm happy now?
Yeah.
Or something like
I don't think, but I think for me, it should be completely separate. Like, I think if we stop giving the internet the power, because that's what's going on. Like the internet has the power. Apps make money off how long we're on it, and the algorithm. What people don't understand, and every time you step on your phone, every time you get on Instagram or TikTok or whatever, like you're getting played by an algorithm. Like I hope people understand that, and if you don't understand that, get fucking real, because you're getting played by the algorithm every time you get on there. They want to entice you to stay on the app. So I just feel like if we can just start treating the internet as its own separate thing and really give it like, keep it in its place and not have it be our life and have it be what it's supposed to be. Like, I feel like, business and personal is like different. So if you can treat it as such, you know what I mean? So
church and state.
yeah. So can it be positive? 100%. I battle going back and forth with how I feel about the internet. Like sometimes I feel like it's bullshit. Other times I'm like, wow, I've met so many cool people. You see people doing dope shit on the internet. You see people making money off social media. I just think it comes down to what is your personal goal and what is your like intent? Like, are you intentional about, is it positive for you? Like, do you get on there and you're like, oh fuck, I gotta post another photo? Like, I think everybody can get the bag however they want to get the bag, but like, do I have to take my clothes off again? Like, it's like, as long as you're okay with it, okay within yourself, like, I don't think there's a problem with the internet. But I also think that we don't necessarily always have control over that.
Yeah. And I think honestly, like, as long as you don't get your identity wrapped up inside of it.
That's what it is. That's what I was getting at. There you go.
Associate your daily life, your emotion towards it, because it shouldn't be an emotional thing unless you are trying to promote a emotional topic or something. But that's what's so nice to see you do specifically is like you do dope shit that you love, and you promote working hard, grinding, doing what you have to do to get to that point, not just like, look at me, I'm hitting wheelies and like fucking being dope, you know?
But that hasn't always been. Like, there was like a big progression with that. Like, I had this weird fucking insecurity my whole life that I always wanted to be recognized. Like, and it definitely stemmed from childhood. I don't know what it was about my childhood, and I still have yet to figure it out, that I didn't feel seen. Like, I didn't feel like people saw me. Like, everything that I tried to do, I look back on my life when I was a kid, I'm like, oh, I just want to play basketball. I just want to play baseball, like, but my motivation was to be seen. And it pushed me to great limits to test myself, but there was no longevity in it because I don't do either of those things. So, when I got good at writing, I feel like it's always been about the love of the bike, but when I first started to get a little bit of recognition, I was like, this thing started to creep back up, and I was like, wow, I'm being seen. Like, this is what I've always wanted. I wanted to be seen. Like, people watch me on the street, people watch me on the internet, people watch me on the highway, people,
people know you.
People know me. And it was crazy because that was never the intention, but I think those feelings happened for a reason, so I could battle them. And so I could get a hold of that, get control of that, because now I don't care about that anymore. I don't care if people know who I am. I don't care what people think about me. I don't care who's better than who. I don't, it's all, again, I realized that the internet is just smoke and mirrors. Like, it's just character that can be created, so you never know really what's going on. But I feel like for me, the biggest thing that I push now is like, I'm fully transparent and authentic. Like, and I feel like that's what kind of helps me in my realm of self-development, is that I know that if we're more alike than we are different. So if I can talk about something that I have trouble with, at least one fucking person is going to relate to me. And at least one fucking person is going to go, damn, bro, like, that helped me today, or I've battled that before. So I feel like I had to go through that to understand that we all want to be seen. I mean, it's a need. I mean, we all want to be seen. We all want to be recognized, but
we all want to score that fucking game-winning touchdown.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So, but how do you not let that control you?
Yeah. Well, I think social media is a great tool for learning. Like going through the developments of life. It's a great teacher in that aspect of, like, being a young person with a young mind, having these new emotions kind of pop up. And like, bro, I was the exact same way. I literally felt like a shadow in society. Like, I was just moving with the crowd and not ever really seen. And same thing like you. Like, I just decided to develop myself outside of like growing up and being the person that I wanted to be and be seen. And then I realized, just like you, like, the shit is like, it's not as real as it seems. And I was meditating today, and super crazy, like, profound shit just keeps happening each time I meditate. And the quote, "When is enough?" just kept like popping in my head.
I would go ahead. I was just gonna that thought, but go ahead. Yeah, let's not forget to touch on that.
Yeah. So when is enough? What just kept playing in my head, and I was like, when is enough people? When is it enough for the amount of people to follow you? Be enough people till you're satisfied. How much money is enough till you're satisfied? Like, bro, just how you could ask that to absolutely anything. How much time and hours worked is enough time put in to classify yourself as a hardworking person. So it's something to really humble yourself on, because at the end of the day, bro, it's just you against yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's you against yourself, and you set the limits on yourself, not social medias or other people's, limits for themselves. Because like for me personally, like I get it. Gary Vee fucking works his fucking ass off, and he's always hustling. He's always grinding. He's happy, and that's what makes him happy. But I don't like working that much. I don't want to work that much because I want to split my time up and doing different shit that's not work related.
Yeah.
I like having these conversations.
Yeah.
I like hanging out with you and your family and like just having dinner. You know, I like doing other shit.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of the times we have to ask ourselves, when is enough, and know that it's all right here already. You know, like you don't have to work day in and day out and day and night, missing out on the small, subtle opportunities. Because once you actually get to the point where you think that you've made it, you realize that you're like, holy shit, like it's, I don't know, this office, bro. I thought forever this office was going to be my saving grace, you know, like the place where I can just sit and create and fucking do whatever.
The office was going to be the thing that pushed you past wherever you were before, and it's not.
Yeah.
It's
and
not.
I got in here and I was like, bro, I'm still working 6 hours a day alone a lot of the times. I'm still like having mental blocks
It's
trying
because you
to
didn't get
edit.
a big enough office for me to put a desk in here.
Yeah, I know, bro. For real. But I'm blessed to have it. And honestly, like I'm learning to utilize it more, just like this, because I do want to create more memories with people and use it for what it is, you know, because it's a place to create, and it's not just for myself, it's for other people to create. So
yeah, so I touching back on kind of what you were saying, it's crazy, you're kind of taking the words out of my mouth, but I think when you start to really study whatever it is you believe in, and like for me, like the law of attraction, like you really realize that life is completely abundant. So
infinitely abundant.
There is no end, right? So there's a fine line to be teetered on there, because like you said, how much is enough? Well, it really does. There is no end. I mean, when you want to talk about hours worked or money, like I think the battle is with go-getters like us. The battle is how do you continue to pursue what you want, but to also live in the moment and be satisfied right now. So it's all personal. Like, where is that line, you know? And I think that's, for me, that's what I've always battled. Like, how do I feel like I stay present, but also how do I keep reaching for more without, in those present moments that I'm, you know, sitting here talking to you or being with my family, how do I feel like I'm not falling behind?
But just asking that question alone is the next step into understanding, because asking the question leads you closer to the answer. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So I think for people that are like, bro, you and I always talk about it, but always like going through this phase of like, let's fucking get it. And then we get it. And then we're like, you know, like self-doubt may come in, or like, you know, is what I'm doing the right thing? Or like, you know, all these questions start arising. And if you don't address them, then you just get consumed and swallowed up by all these anxieties and all these questions, you know, popping up in your head, but you don't have like an actual, like, you're just letting them come to you, and you're letting them kind of control your thoughts and your emotions and things like that, but you're not addressing it.
Yeah. So touching on that too, I've never felt like, in this day and age, I feel like, I don't know, bro. I feel no matter what anyone says, I feel like the confusion that we go through in that, when you're like, do I feel like I'm doing the right thing? We didn't have that, I feel like, before the internet. Like you thought like when I was young and I was one track minded. Like I was like, it's basketball season, basketball only. Yeah. Like it's baseball season, baseball only. I didn't look at anything else. I didn't do anything else. Like summer was weights only. Like I didn't like, you know, I didn't want to pick up a Frisbee and like, oh, I'm going to get into mini golf or, you know, whatever. We are so out of touch with our intuition, our own internal intuition, because of the internet, because of social media. You have outer direction and you have inner direction. The emotional issues that I feel like a lot of us have come from constantly being pushed and bribed to be a certain way, The highest paying jobs right now, the most amount of jobs are based upon social media. You can get hired at Facebook or Instagram. Like, all these things are meant to, and it's the biggest business right now, is to keep you influenced. So how do you be yourself when you're constantly influenced every day, all day? The more time you spend on your phone, you're being influenced. And maybe I'm not doing this right. Maybe I'm not doing that right. Maybe I should be doing this a different way because this is how they're doing it. And this is how it's like, at the end of the day, if you don't stay in your own fucking lane, you're never going to get anywhere.
Or you will get somewhere, but you'll never be satisfied.
Exactly. So that's, like I said, that's where like that outer direction versus inner direction comes from. When people say, I don't know, like when you say, hey, what do you want to do? Or what do you want to be? I don't know. It's a fucking lie. You do really know what you want. You either, one, you think you can do it and you don't believe in yourself, or you think it's not possible. Or two, you constantly are just sucking in opinion after opinion after opinion after opinion from, your parents or your spouse, your loved ones, your friends. The internet, like I said, is the biggest culprit because there's a science behind the algorithm.
Absolutely.
So when you start sucking in all these opinions and you're being influenced one way or another, eat fast food, be like this, buy this shit.
All subconsciously too.
All subconsciously, if you're not aware and if you're not in touch with your intuition, you will never be yourself because you are taking in all these opinions and emotions from all these other people, like you said, subconsciously, without really realizing it. And then you wake up and that's where all your fucking confusion comes from because you have so-and-so's thoughts and opinions and their life living inside of your head.
And what a lot of people don't realize is with social media, I mean, you even see this with celebrities, the most influential people, let's just say, your being essentially is clout. You are hype. You are driving the numbers up momentarily.
Yeah.
Because not one person can continuously be the shit forever, like fucking
Unless you're
Drake. Yes. I was like, dude, that's the only one person in my head that
artist of the decade, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, bro, even the most important people, if you want to call them, they still aren't shit.
Yeah.
To the average everyday person because they're constantly being influenced by separate people over and over again. So I just like to look at a mountain and go, holy shit, dude, this thing has been here for I don't know how many thousands of years.
Yeah.
I'm tiny and I'm not going to be here for thousands and thousands of years. This thing is fucking absolutely amazing. It humbles me, And I think we just need a little bit more of that is like you're not as hot as you think you are.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing. That is a good thing. That actually can push you to be a hotter person in, as far as like blowing up and doing, if that's what you want to do, if you really want to influence people and stuff like that, like your humbleness is actually going to put you in the right direction rather than doing what the trends will tell you to do.
Yeah, I feel like Hollywood and the music industry is like a whole nother story. Like that's again, it's Instagram, Hollywood, social media. I don't want to say just Instagram, but social media, Hollywood, like the movie business, the music industry, all these things. It's all a business in order to keep people pulled in,
entertained.
They're constantly throwing out the reel, testing the bait, and if it doesn't work, they're pulling the reel in and they're trying a different bait.
Exactly.
And
that's a great way to put it.
When people are no longer and these people, like these celebrities are no longer a service to what's popular, they're thrown in the trash and the next person's up. So it's like, you have to realize like they're recycling people, they're recycling trends, they're recycling all these things to keep you hooked and entertained because things that are new are interesting. When things are old, they get boring and the money is involved. Yeah, if you follow the money, you'll find anything. And the problem is like, I've said this before, if you don't have a firm grasp on your own psychology, like if you don't really know yourself, which 99% of people don't really know who they truly are, you're constantly going to be influenced. You're constantly going to be pulled in all these different directions. And like I said, that's where the confusion comes from. That's where all the mental instability comes from, is confusion from, I wouldn't say all of it, but confusion of being influenced, of not really truly knowing who you are. Because when you're depressed and you're sad, like, you know, you think you aren't worthy. Well, you are worthy if you really know yourself and you really know where you want to go. The anxiety is like, what if I fail? You know, I mean, that's just an example, but if you truly know yourself and you say, even if I do fail, I'm going to continue, it doesn't bother you. Yeah. So I feel like people don't really, really know themselves, but it's the hardest thing to do it. Like I said, especially right now. I mean, I know who I am and I still fall victim to it, to where I get confused and I'm like, God, is this really who I am? Like, like you said, am I moving in the right direction? And I feel like the only time I do that is when I'm thinking about somebody else's success or somebody else's lane or, you know, business or whatever they're doing. But I'm like, when I look at myself, this is what I want to do. Or, you know, will I lose that influence if I do something else, right?
Yeah.
It's a tough road that not many people want to walk down.
No, it's the most terrifying road, because I mean, you're the one that's up here 24/7 in your own head, you know, being your biggest critic, and to face that critic and to actually, you know, try and answer, you know, the problems that you're facing amongst yourself is so tough. Going back to losing. Oh, you said something about losing. You said the fear of losing.
Yeah. Or the fear of like failing. Yeah.
Yes. I heard one of the greatest things come out of Conor McGregor's mouth, which isn't usually
it doesn't
like one
usually
of the
happen,
greatest things ever. But he said one of the most profound things to me. He said his coach told him, Conor, you never, ever, ever lose. You've never lost, and you never lose. You either win or you learn.
Yeah.
And I was like, bro, what? That's so crazy.
Yeah.
You either win or you learn. So if you get knocked out by a right hook, you learn timing, you learn patience, you learn distance, you learn moving in too fast. You learn everything that happened to lead to that result. Yes, technically it's a loss, but how much information comes from a loss might as well be 5 wins in a row.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so if you start adapting your lifestyle to taking risks and knowing that these so-called losses are coming, look at them as lessons coming in and not losses coming in. It's not something to beat yourself up on. It's something to analyze, adapt, and improve on.
Yeah.
You got to look like fucking, you know, in the Marvel movie, there's a guy called Ultron who like would always throughout the movie kill his old self. He would come up and rip himself in half and be a bigger version of himself, and a greater version of himself.
It's a breakdown of the rebuild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's terrifying, but also like once you get that in your head, like I am someone who evolves. I'm an evolving, changing, ever-growing person. I will never be stagnant. And that's the infinite possibilities of life that allow you to be that person.
Yep.
And if you look at it in that way, then it's a beautiful thing. It's not like I will never attain this. It's I'll get there, but there's always something next after that. So attain that shit, and then when you're there, look at what's next, you know, and attain that. And then look at what's next and attain that. And always just remember that in progress, admire what you've done, appreciate what you've done, admire all the victories that keep coming in, analyze these lessons, and fucking keep going, bro. Just keep going.
Do you think, I was going to ask you, so I actually had this thought the other day. So do you think like the feeling and the magnitude of how the loss feels, or how like the failure feels, do you think it has to do with the changing sense of time that we feel? Like I was thinking about, I was watching the Notebook, right, with Kalai a while ago, and I was thinking, like, the guy was writing letters, and like she didn't respond, right? So back in that day, like not only did it take, you know, however long it took him to write the letter, he had to send it off, and then it was going by cart or whatever, right? So it's not like it's the coming
Getting there
here, right?
immediately, yeah.
So, and then he never got a reply. So he's like, and think of the magnitude of this, like, he's thinking about like the love of his life, right? And then has like this couple years where he just doesn't even hear from her. Like today, like that type of time that we have doesn't fucking exist.
Yeah.
So I think it's like a constant anxiety of wanting quick results because again, we don't even know what that's like. Like imagine wanting to communicate with somebody and having to wait 5 days because like our communication or our mail system right now is way faster. So if you write a letter and you send it, it's going to get there in a day or two. They're going to look at it. They're going to write back. It's going to take a day or two. Okay.
Emotion.
Okay.
You allow emotion to build.
Exactly. Yeah. So what if the failure is because you don't get to just do it again right away if you're not in an opportunity to do that, right? So if you fail or if you hit some type of adversity, we want to fix it right in this moment. And if it's not completely worked over and completed and fixed right in that moment, that's where that anxiety and all these negative emotions come in. Like our sense of time is just so fast. And I think that we're not emotionally ready for what it is. You see where I'm going? Like, I think that we've sped everything up so much to the point where we're not ready for it. I mean, we're clearly not ready for it. I mean, dude, I can like call you in like a second. You know what I mean? Like we just don't understand what it's like to wait for something. And I think again, that's what's fucking a lot of us up is that we're not patient because we can literally have whatever we want in a second. I mean, you look at food, Uber Eats, like all this shit. You don't have to leave your house. Stuff is so easy that anything hard is frowned upon and it's magnified. Yeah, I was reading this book. It's called The 50th Law by Robert Greene, and it's like co-authored by 50 Cent. And it's a fucking amazing book. Robert Greene wrote the 48 Laws of Power, which is like he relates times in history to how you can have power and influence basically in society and in the world. And then he got up with 50 Cent and they wrote the book together. But he talks about how people can't sit alone by themselves and that boredom is actually important because of the thoughts and emotions that you can start to understand about yourself. But the way that society moves with money, that there's no way for people to be bored because it makes you think, it makes you do shit, it makes you work on yourself because you're like, damn, I'm sitting here alone and I'm not really feeling like how I'm feeling. Let me get on my phone. Yeah. Let me go do this. Let me order food. Let me turn on Netflix. Like, if you're just like the people that are weird to us now are the people that are in a park sitting by themselves, like doing something weird, talking to themselves. Yeah. If they're not on drugs. You know what I mean? Yeah. The people are like, what the fuck is that guy doing? Like, that's the shit we should be doing. Yeah. You see what I'm saying?
I see some of that in Portland sometimes, like going to that Hawthorne Park. But yeah, man, it's I think honestly it's because we're the first generation of technology, like this type of technology.
We're the guinea pigs.
We're the transition, from like doing everything by hand to now everything is, electronic and transferred via the fucking ether, just everything is just like fucking magic basically. Yeah. And so we haven't transitioned, and we're not ready. We haven't learned. We haven't understood like how to emotionally connect with ourselves and also have this power of like, having everything given to us this quickly. Did that alarm go off? Yeah. All right, cool. I'll hit it real quick. Dope. All right, cool. But I was gonna say, God damn it, what was I gonna say?
Talking about the internet.
Yeah, there was something. I was going to segue it into something else. I can't remember what it is. Sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah, I'm losing it. It'll happen sometimes. But, God damn it, it's going to drive me nuts, man. It's going to drive me nuts. The internet is so new. So
yeah,
we
we're the
gotta
first
figure it out,
generation
man.
of the internet, and we're like, we're the guinea pigs, bro. And I think we're failing. I really do.
Yeah.
Like it.
What do you think is in your opinion the answer to it?
Separation. There's no other way to fucking put it.
Moderation and separation.
No, I don't think. I think it's the emotional and intellectual inability to separate the internet from real life. I personally, honestly, I'm a firm believer that you can spend as much time on it as you want if you're emotionally strong enough to understand that it's completely fucking separate thing and it holds no value. None. I don't care what anybody says.
It's information.
It's information.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you have to understand that it holds no value at all. Like,
That's so crazy. It's an information device that people get emotionally attached to.
yeah.
But it has no soul. It has no meaning. It has no emotion behind it. It may have a video that's playing something that's
Yeah.
emotional, and maybe that might touch you a little bit. But people don't look at it as this device of knowledge. Sorry to cut you off.
No,
but
you're good. Honestly, bro, I don't know if there is an answer. Like, I really don't. Like, Tony Robbins talks about, he puts this in like a form of like, how do you get where you want to be in your life. But he talks about like the 2 millimeter shift, like people that are right on the edge of taking the next level. People are right on the edge of changing their life. Like, it's just the smallest little thing that's going to take you to the next level. I think that metaphor can also be used in what we do on our phones, because I think the phone is the most powerful thing in the world right now. There's nothing more powerful than the phone. And the phone, I think, is its own energy. It's its own entity. It's its own thing. It's its own life form. You can be on that thing and nobody knows but you, whether you're on it and you're getting fucked up in it, or you're on it just to use it for what it is information, like you're saying. I think the ability to understand and separate real life from that separate entity that the phone is the only way to truly be freed from it. Because we're caged 100%.
Yeah.
Like, and I heard a quote once that said that you can't get yourself out of a cage if you don't know that you're in it. So
Absolutely.
a lot of people don't understand we're in a cage. I mean, there is like an elite group of people that really are not attached to the phone. And I would say it's 1%.
Yeah.
I would say you look at dudes like David Goggins, follows 0 people, never gets on it. Someone else manages it for him. He's never on it. He's not caged by the phone. And then you look at him and how he lives his life as well. He's never influenced. He's himself 100%. As much as we know, he's himself 100%.
Pretty sure he's himself.
Yeah, and he doesn't give a fuck about anything. I mean, he doesn't own a car. I heard a story about where he actually got in touch with Jesse Itler, and Jesse Itler asked him to come to his house to train him for a marathon. He was going to stay for a month, and he showed up with a small backpack, like 2 shirts, 2 pairs of shorts, and 1 pair of shoes, and that's it. And he told Jesse Itzler, he said, Jesse Itzler ended up running the marathon or whatever it was, or the 200-mile run or something. He did end up completing it. But David Goggins told him, you're not going to make it. And he's like, why? He said, because you're fucking soft. He's like, you got massage therapists and fucking hot tubs and all this shit. Like, you're too soft. You're not going to make it. This is a run that's destined for people that are like, I don't remember exactly what he said, but basically dead inside.
Yeah.
Like, they don't need any of this outside shit. Like, and there's something so admirable about somebody that doesn't need fucking anything. Yeah. And I think that's where true independence and freedom comes from. Like, it's not about money. And I think we really, really need to get this through our head that freedom does not fucking come from money. Freedom comes from the ability to never, ever stray away from who you really are. Just because you are just because you have money doesn't mean you're free.
No.
I saw a quote the other day that said, a Rolex isn't a flex if it tells you what time your lunch break's over. So it's the ability to afford the things that we associate success with that makes other people envious of us, which, like we talked about earlier, allows us to be seen, which means that we're different. You're already fucking different when you're born.
Yep.
Like you're under a set of circumstances that are never ever going to happen again. So why do we feel like we need to prove that we're different when we're already different as we truly fucking are? And in the proof of us trying to be different, we're just like everybody else.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the differences in individuals don't necessarily come from the amount of, clout that they attain. Maybe because they are extremely good at an art form, maybe because they're a great singer, or they're a bodybuilder, or they work really fucking hard. But for the people that make some of the biggest changes in their life that may seem so minute, I've seen people who are lazy, tired all the time, drinking, eating like shit, smoking.
It's emotional.
Flip their life around, wake up at 5 a.m., go run, go be a fucking beast, start caring about themselves, start having personal responsibility towards trying to help their family out and lead them in the right direction. Things like that. Bro, I've seen, and I'm not saying the people that are, doing great things at the top and working really hard still at their craft aren't doing it for me, but anyone has the ability to absolutely shine in life.
Greatness is uncovered.
No,
it's not. It's
not. Greatness doesn't have a platform.
Yeah, it's not. Greatness is uncovered. It's not achieved. Like people get that fucked up.
That's
like
a great dude, bro.
Greatness is uncovered. It's not achieved. When you seek greatness, you're seeking who you truly are. You're not seeking a thing. It's not. You can't grab.
Yeah.
It's not a. It's. What is the word?
You can't grasp it. You can't.
No, what's a word for like physical? It's. What is it? Like, it's the word for like physical, like hold it, touch it, see it. Like, what is that umbrella word?
I would say physical.
Okay.
I would
Greatness is not physical.
Yeah.
It's not achieved. It's uncovered within yourself. Everybody's fucking great. Like I said, when we go back to, you're already different when you're born. You're born under a set of circumstances that are never going to happen again. It's being like everybody else that makes us not great and makes us not different. When we're actually seeking being different, we end up being like everybody else because we're influenced. But when you understand, like I said, power comes from being who you truly are and never wavering and never ever changing or straying away from that, regardless of anything. The most powerful people are the people that don't need anything.
Yeah.
I don't need you. I don't need your money. I don't need your time. I don't need this. I don't need that. I don't need anything from anyone other than myself. And if this opportunity or this time in my life or this, whatever it may be, makes me stray away from who I actually am, it's not for me.
Yeah. And honestly, it may happen because a lot of the time subconscious things kind of sneak in there, and that is what life is about. A lot of people think that once you've attained this ability to see yourself for who you are and, constantly push and drive yourself, little incremental things get pushed in the way. And all of a sudden, I read a book, Atomic Habits, where he was describing making positive changes in your life by 1% every single day.
Yep.
That's why I put be 1% better every day. If you flew a plane from here to Moscow and your trajectory is off by 1%, by the time you got to where Moscow is, you would end up
somewhere else,
wherever that is. Yeah. So think about that as far as each day. If you are growing in the wrong direction, you're incrementally growing in the wrong direction, a very, very far place. But if you go in the right direction 1% every day, that could be just like having one less cup of coffee or waking up 10 minutes earlier or freaking walking outside or going on. It doesn't matter what it is, but 1% better every single day will allow you to put yourself on a trajectory that is where you want to be, you know?
Yeah. And like, kind of like I was, I was saying, when, I'm trying to figure out how to put this. So if you, whatever you believe in, I think that if you believe in the higher self, you start to understand that metaphor and break that down and what that is every day. When I say that greatness is not achieved, it's uncovered. And the reason I say it's uncovered is because if you believe in the higher self, that is the aim. You can't hit a target that you don't shoot at, and especially if you don't have a target in general. So the target is the higher self. So when you wake up every day, you're not in competition with anything. You're not in competition with anybody else. You're not in competition with the fucking weather, like, oh, this weather's getting me down. You're only in competition with who you are now and who you want to be. And that's it.
Absolutely.
And if you truly understand that, when you start to really want to uncover that, you realize that nothing else fucking matters. That's when you really get in the zone. When you understand the fact that it's only you versus you. You're battling your old habits versus your new ones, right? I had this like epiphany one day when I was meditating that we get hand-me-downs, right? Like clothes. Like, have you ever had hand-me-downs when you were old?
I lived off hand-me-downs.
Okay. So we have a trajectory of what we believe that when Brandon's little, that, well, what's your brother's name?
Johnny.
Okay, so Johnny was this old when he wore this, right? So Brandon might be able to wear it by the time he's 4. You know, Johnny weighed about whatever, right? Brandon probably is going to weigh around the same, whatever. You have this thing that you can fit into when you get there, right? But there's steps along the way. Like, you're growing, you're gaining weight, you're getting taller, right? Imagine if you could create yourself to fit into yourself at a future date. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
And at a future time, and have you had to be at least a certain weight to be able to fit into those clothes. You had to be at least a certain height to fit in those clothes. Nobody sits down and plans how they want themselves to be before they get there. And you think that it's going to happen. It's not going to.
What's so crazy that you got on this topic. People think I'm fucking nuts for doing this. And I did this before I even understood, like, actually how powerful it was I created an alter ego for myself called Zach Wild.
Yeah.
And people would talk shit all the time, like, when I first started coming up with it. I didn't even know why I did. It just spoke to me because I was tripping off the mushrooms, and it like told me to like create another personality for yourself, a personality that's your best self. And I didn't understand that at the time. And I just kept referring to myself as like, I'm on right now. I feel great. I'm alive. I'm Zach Wild. And I kept that going. And then all of a sudden people started seeing it. Like, they would just come up to me and call me Zach Wild or Mr. Wild or whatever the fuck it was. And now, I mean, I have a whole business dedicated to it. I live my life freely because of it. Because I've created an entity of myself that is the best version of myself. So I can look for, in my day-to-day life, any instance that I have, what would be the best version of accomplishing that task. Zach,
what would he do?
Yeah, what would he do?
Yeah.
And when you fulfill that, you become him. And so I constantly have something. I'm basically like pulling myself out of my body, letting that thing accomplish the task in my mind. And then I go, okay, I'm going to do exactly what I just saw in my head. Boom, I become that thing. And it sounds nuts. It might not work for everyone. It's worked for me. I've literally become independent, being able to run my own business because I've used this technique or whatever. Like, you don't have to be crazy to do this shit.
No, honestly, I don't think it's weird at all. I feel like that's what
Beyonce does it.
Yeah, and you know, I did it with Nasty Nate too. I mean, you know, I haven't done it in all aspects of my life, but with the bike, I mean, it was like there was like this, not only of myself but from others, there was like this expectation of me. Like when I hit rock bottom, like multiple times, bro. I mean, it, you know, twice where I was like within the bike where I was like really, really low. Like I was really at the fucking bottom. And what crazy thing is when you're really involved in something, like I was involved with the bike, it's like I didn't even know. Like I knew, like, I mean, I was really kind of just getting into the game. I felt like I was like making some headway, making some progress, and then boom, get in an accident and I hit a car, going 60 miles an hour. Like when I got to the hospital and the nurse looked at me, he was like, "Are you good? Like, is like anything, like, can you have feeling and everything? Like, can you move this? Can you move that?" And all I remember is looking at him and go, "Is my bike good?" Like, he was like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah, is my bike good?" That's the only thing I could think about. And then when I got out of the hospital and I was like, what's going on with my bike? I get home, broken hand, like more things were, I mean, my body was like destroyed.
Yeah.
And I was blessed that I was able to walk. I mean, a lot of people wouldn't walk away from an accident like that. And I was like, I looked at it like, damn, I'm really supposed to be doing this.
Yeah.
Like if I wasn't supposed to be doing this, that injury or that accident would have taken my life, or it would have taken, I would have been paralyzed. I mean, how many people die on motorcycles, coming out of a driveway.
Yeah,
So
constantly.
Me getting into an accident where I just plow into a car and I get, shot, 50 feet away from the bike and just roll and roll and roll and roll and roll. There's something to be said in that. And then, even after I was done, it's like I didn't even know. Mm-hmm. I went home and I was like, I have a camera. I was as soon as I could walk, I was doing it even before I could walk. I was at the lot taking pictures of my friends. Like I was still doing bike shit. And I was at the point where I was like, I felt like I didn't even know because I was so involved in what I was doing, and my goals were so strong that the adversity didn't bother me at all. I mean, I had no money, I had no bike, my body was destroyed, and I was like, fuck, I can't wait to do this shit again. Like and that's when you're like, damn, I'm really supposed to be doing this. And I think if we can kind of understand what adversity looks like and kind of unpack it, like, what is this telling me here? But also, everybody has free thoughts. So, I mean, you can go down a rabbit hole in a good way or a bad way, but I just really went into like going, what am I going to do with this? Mm-hmm. Am I going to fucking quit? Or am I going to wait for my time and I'm going to get back on it? And it's crazy that is besides my relationship, that is the only thing that I've truly felt like I've conquered adversity, like to the fucking highest extent, because everything that I'm doing now as far as tricks on the bike, I mean, I learned after that accident. And within the first 6 months, I mean, I just started bugging out. Like I was just going crazy, doing all these fucking new tricks and trying shit, riding in the rain and riding by myself Friday nights, Saturday nights when other people were doing shit, like driving up to Seattle 2 hours every fucking weekend. Like it was something that I had overcome, and I was fully convinced that if I survive this accident, this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yep.
And when you truly, that's where I feel like self-empowerment comes from, battling shit like that. Because you're like, damn, I really fucking survived that shit, and I really came back, and I'm really better than I ever was before. Mm-hmm. What else can I do?
Mm-hmm. See,
and you open your mind up to those possibilities.
I mean, even just going back to, what we were talking about before is like, that is in so many people's eyes a loss. If you do get in a crash, your bike is fucking wrecked, your body's wrecked, you have no cash. All these things they're not just small, minute stuff. These are all things that consume people's minds and really close in, and you took it as a lesson and not a loss, and that's it. it's an art form to me, honestly. It's something that you have to learn. It's something that it's not just happens. Sometimes, fortunately, it's like so big that it happens at one point in time. Like if a crash like that could have killed you, it could wake up your being to be like, this is what I meant to do. You know,
Exactly.
I'm meant to do this shit. Sometimes it's a lot smaller than that, and you have to recognize that it's going to happen over and over and over and over again until you just decide one day, like, I'm not going to let it affect me like that. I'm
Yep.
just going to, it already happened. It's not going to undo itself by me beating myself up over it or by me sitting and crying over it. It's literally, it happened. It's set in stone. It's in infinity. It's not coming back. So what are you going to do?
Yeah.
You know, are you going to actually flip it to a positive side? And if you're doing something that you love, like I've wanted to quit on fucking creating videos all the time, filming, I've wanted to quit all the time, but I'm like, bro, no, like shut up. Like this is what you love to do. It requires hard work. It requires a lot of mental capacity. It requires a lot of just everything that you know it requires. It's
Your dream can die in the adversity.
that's
Or-
you're coming in strong with the quotes today.
I mean, bro, your
you're
dream
coming in strong with the quotes.
your dream can die in your adversity, or it can live in your perseverance. I mean, there's no other way to put
Who'd you
it.
steal that from?
Nobody,
Who'd you steal that
Nobody.
from, bro?
dude. I'm just spitting bars, bro.
That's bars right there, bro.
Bars.
That's fucking bars.
Bars. Yeah, your dream can
That's real
your
shit,
dream can
man.
die in your
In adversity.
or it can live in your perseverance.
That's incredible. Honestly, just sit for a second if you're listening to this and think about that shit. Because, bro, that hits different.
Yeah.
I think your camera says it has like low disk space or something.
Okay.
You want me to pause it?
Yeah. We
All
can.
right. Yeah. Sorry, 1 second, guys. Bro, that is amazing. Let's see, no space on memory card. You want me to put something else in?
Low disk space.
Yeah.
That's fine.
All right.
Yeah, it's all good.
Get this thing. I'll probably end it off on that nugget
Yeah.
too, huh?
Okay. We
It
can.
just
Yeah.
goes black right at that.
Hey, that's good. Good with me.
Fuck yeah. No, but that's fucking all you can ask for, man. It's so crazy thinking about. I don't know. Since I've been here, I've been going through an extreme amount of transformations. Like I don't know if you've ever moved or like been somewhere for an extended period of time, but everything that you've ever known, because everywhere you go is a different style of life. The people are different, the climate's different, the way in which the world moves is different. And when you go to a new place and meet new people and experience new things, your whole identity just evolves into this new form. And it is just, it's a fucking roller coaster, especially with the rain.
Yeah, no
That shit
shit.
is crazy.
Yeah.
So, honestly, I just wanted to thank you for always being there, always being real, and like just helping me through shit that you don't even know you helped me through. You know, it's
I feel like, bro, honestly, ever since I've got into like the self-development space and the people that I look up to, their biggest, I feel like, accomplishment is contribution. So what can I do to contribute to somebody's life? Like, where is there more satisfaction? You know what I mean? I mean, and I think what people fail to realize is like, if I give, I have nothing for myself. Well, then you don't believe you have anything for yourself. I mean, I think the biggest contribution you can make is to make an effect on somebody else's life. And when you make an effect on somebody else's life, an effect on your life will happen.
absolutely. And if you're looking to contribute and you're looking, how am I getting a kickback in return, then you're doing something wrong. You know what I mean? Like if you're like constantly like, all right, I'm helping them out, and then you're just sitting there waiting like, all right, what's coming to me? You know, like when is it my turn? That's not the whole point of it. You know, it's which is so dope about you too, is like you're always like come on, man, let's fucking go. Let's do
Yeah,
it. Like,
what are we
let's go
doing?
shoot. Yeah,
Yeah,
what are we doing?
yeah.
What are we like? I'm like, damn, bro, let's get it. All right, okay, let's go.
I feel like one of the things that I read in 50 Cent's other book, dude, one of the most inspirational people you can literally find in our lifetime is 50 Cent. Like, I don't care what
So
anyone says.
underrated, too.
I think people look at accomplishment versus what it really took to get there. Like, you know, as far as like, you know, artists go, sure, Drake's the most accomplished artist of our time, but wasn't a whole lot of adversity there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not to take anything away from him, but bro, if people really knew 50 Cent's story, like on a deeper level, like he is the most creative, the mentally toughest person I think that we can literally understand, just of the shit that he's gone through in his life. And he turned shit into sugar. I mean, it's unbelievable. But one thing that he talks about in his book, what were we talking about before that, before I went on that tangent?
Just kind of being there and pushing
the limits.
Pushing the limits. Friends limits.
Yeah. So in the book, he talks about how when he was friends with Floyd Mayweather, and he had lost, you know, no fights and, you know, all this bullshit, whatever. And he was kind of just like coasting through the beginning of like the whatever, the prelims or whatever. He was just like fucking around. And he said that the way he motivated him was like asking him questions. And so, because then you answer for yourself. Like if somebody, the point of a leader is to not tell somebody the answer, is to get them to find the answer within themselves. So how do you do that? You ask a question. So if I'm like, yo, like, you're not shooting, like, what the fuck? You should be shooting. You're like,
or what are you shooting today?
Okay, you know what I mean? But I'm like, yo, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah.
And you're like, well, we're not doing shit. Like, looks like we better. You know what I mean? The question is so much more powerful than the statement, I feel like, when you're trying to help somebody, or when you're trying to motivate a friend. I feel like the question can be so much more powerful and also way less offensive. I mean, that's why I always use that. I even use it with myself. Like, when I'm at the gym, I'm like, yo, are you going hard? Like, what the fuck are we doing? You know, or I find myself on my phone. I'm like, yo, what the fuck are we doing, bro? Like, what are we doing? And it's like, it's such a motivating question, bro. It just really is. Like, it's such a motivating question.
Yeah. I just started doing that recently. Like I took a bunch of stuff off my phone. I deleted, I didn't necessarily delete Facebook, Instagram and stuff like that, but I put them in a hidden like place. And then I set timers on them so I wouldn't allow myself to put myself in the position to sit there and scroll and shit like that. But that stemmed from like me sitting there and fucking scrolling and getting lost in the internet and snapping out of it and being like, yo, what the fuck am I doing, dude? Like, what are you doing? You have the ability, not only do you have the ability to create and do what you want, but you have the freedom to do whatever you want. So you don't even have to create right now. You just have the freedom to get up and go and do whatever. And you're choosing to sit down and not do shit. That's like, you don't realize that you have a dream to so many people. A dream that I had for myself 2 years ago, you know, like you got to realize what you have, and utilize it. But I like 50 Cent a lot and what he says and what he does, and
he's a savage, bro.
He's an absolute savage.
The way that he never let anything get in the way of what he wanted to do. Like he went through so much crazy adversity. Got a record label from Columbia. Back in the day,
From Columbia?
Yeah, with Jam Master Jay back in the day, got a record label from Columbia, ended up getting shot right before his debut album was supposed to come out. They dropped him from the label, okay? So now he's shot, laid up, recovering, no money, no deal, no nothing. He was literally this fucking close. What would a normal person do in that situation? You're this close to fucking fame and fortune and doing whatever you want for the rest of your life, and it's fucking taken from you in a second. Whatever way that I don't know, whatever way that he the contract worked out, they were able to just drop him like that. But at the point, he had gotten money, so he still owed the label. So then when he got the deal, dude, he just so creative, bro. Went through so many things. Like he couldn't get his mixtapes out because he had no marketing money from the label. So what he did was he leaked it to bootleggers. And so bootleggers would bootleg his music on the street. He created the hype that the music was exclusive, even though it wasn't, for the bootleggers to bootleg it. And so it would get his name out there.
Oh my God.
And then when he gets the
recognition
from Eminem signs him, his first check goes straight to fucking Colombia to pay off his fucking last debts. Yeah. And he starts selling drugs again as a fucking signed artist, bro. Like, because he had no money. Like, just the shit that he went through is fucking insane. Like, and to hear, it's the creativity, I think, that really stood out to me. Mm-hmm. Like, how was he going to get his, and I think his awareness, and this book is all about how he overcame adversity and how he used all the things that he learned on the street selling drugs in corporate America. Mm-hmm. And it's awareness, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, you have to be aware when you're selling drugs and, you know, all these things. He realized that Colombia, when he was fucking aware, wasn't putting as much time and effort into him because he wasn't selling as many records and things started going to streaming and all this other bullshit, right? So before they could drop him, he came up with his own scheme and learned every single day. Instead of recording during the day at the studio, he would record at night, and then all day he would sit in Colombia and learn from all these executives and all these people in different marketing, PR, all this shit. And before they could drop him, he was going to renegotiate his contract. They were all worried about it. He was all ready to start his own record label.
Oh my God.
So, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, just the ability to pivot, bro. And then he goes from music. He understands that his music is dying, so he goes to TV. Now he had the #1 show on Stars.
Yeah, which is a great show.
And it's unbelievable to see him just keep pivoting and just keep finding success and the creativity. I mean, I think in the book he talks about how for the whole year, and he co-directed Stars. Mm-hmm. So I mean, you know, it's a TV show, bro. I mean, they shoot for hours on end. He took a salary of like $150,000 for the first year, so he lost money on making the show into what it is now. Mm-hmm. It's just incredible, bro.
Like, and just believing in yourself in that way, and then, like you said, knowing to pivot, bro, because everyone inevitably, like just like we were talking about it before, everyone on social media is looking to be their own PR agent. They're looking to have the most shine that they could possibly shine on themselves. And so when you take your path, you know, headed into the hands of someone else, they're not out there for your best interest. Mm-hmm. And that's what a lot of people don't understand is, like, anything you do is nobody cares about it as much as you care about it for yourself. Yeah. Nobody wants to help you as much as you want to help yourself.
People don't get that, though.
They don't understand.
Yeah, because if I see it, you should see it. Yeah. If I see it, you should see it. Yeah. Why don't you believe in me? Why don't you? And E.T. always says this. It's your dream. Yeah. Like, nobody should tell you to want it. Nobody should have to fucking motivate you. Nobody should have to keep believing in you and keep giving you your flowers. Like, it's your fucking dream. It's your goal. It's whatever. I mean, I hate to use the word dream. I feel like it's overused and cliche now, but it's your fucking dream. It's your vision. Mm-hmm. Why does somebody else have to talk you into it? Yeah. Because you don't actually want what you say you want.
Yeah. Well, you don't want it bad enough, or you're just, again, like, it all ties in together. It's all being able to self-analyze and understand what you want and believe in yourself and know that, like, you have faced adversity or you are going to face adversity. And you need to know, like, it's me that's getting through it, no matter what it is. No matter if I get fucking shot, a record gets dropped on me, no matter what, there is an answer somewhere. Mm-hmm. And you might have to look backwards. Mm-hmm. But that's the beauty of it. Is I was just talking to Lacey about this morning. Is like, I love doing, like, podcasts and stuff like this, and I love being able to create like this, but something about when I first started was so beautiful because A, I was learning everything was new. Yeah. B, I had limited equipment and I had to get so creative with the shit that I was doing. Like, I didn't have lights, so I would, like, go and get a bunch of light bulbs and, like, get a bunch of lamps and put it together and put a bed sheet across it so I'd have a diffused light source, you know, as I'm like trying to practice an interview setup.
I'm hitting with a quote today, bro. Tony Robbins says it's not a lack of resources, it's a lack of resourcefulness.
Ooh.
He always says that.
Nugget, Brad.
It's not a lack of resources, it's a lack of resourcefulness. What can you do with what you have now? Because if you're waiting for an opportunity, you're waiting for the perfect time doesn't fucking exist.
Yeah, it will never exist. That's a video I just watched the other day. Is another online creator talking about that. He's like, bro, it's always going to be something. It's always never going to be the right time.
Yeah.
You're always not going to have enough time or be too busy, or, you know, there's this and that and this and that and this and that. And I'm so much to blame for that. I always give myself that excuse is like, well,
today's not a good time.
Yeah, today's not a good time. Like tomorrow will be dope, but tomorrow doesn't exist.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
never existed. Yeah. It will never exist. And once you get that through your head, then you realize like here and now, like I have a choice to do A or B or C or D, whatever it is. Like I have a choice to do something, and sometimes you choose to do the wrong thing and you beat yourself up on it, or you say like, I'm going to beat myself up on this. I'm going to do what I should do because tomorrow ain't coming. Like my whole emotion about this, I felt this feeling every single day. So it's not going to be different tomorrow. It's going to be the same thing with my same response, because if I get 1%, if I make this 1% choice in the backwards, I'm not going to make it going forwards. Statistically, I'm probably going to keep going backwards. So
that's why I want to reiterate that questions are so powerful. Like every day that you sit and you're unhappy or unsatisfied with where you're at, ask yourself, what the fuck are you doing right now? What are you doing right now that you could be doing to help further you along where you want to be? It's so simple, but it's it takes so much self-accountability and so much responsibility in self that it's fucking hard.
The crazy thing is it's not the action that's hard. It's the mental before the action that's hard.
Yeah.
Which is so crazy, because the hardest things in life are the simplest things in life.
We're creatures of habit. Yeah. So when you get in certain habits that are hard to get broken, you get in routine. And then when you get in routine,
that's when you're fucked.
And so figuring out how to, you ever had like those moments where I feel like I've never done it to somebody, but like you see in a movie where the people are like trying to help a friend and they're like shaking them. They're like, wake the fuck up.
Yeah.
You know,
like zombies.
Yeah. Like, and they're like, or they're, you know, they're emotional or they're crying or whatever. And you're like, yo, wake up. Like, how do you jar yourself? Like, how do you wake yourself? How do you shake up your life and shake up your world to go, yo, this isn't what I want.
How do you do it?
I ask questions. I ask myself questions. Like, I look in the mirror and I ask myself a couple of those things. What the fuck are we doing, bro?
For me,
what are you doing right now?
That's a good one.
What are you doing right now?
For me, I usually, a lot of the times it stems from a lack of like gratitude, essentially. Like a lot of the times I'm like, I could be doing this. I should be doing this.
Yeah.
Like, why am I not doing this? It's more like beating myself up mentally. And then I implement gratitude first. So I always say the simplest shit. Like I'll say roof, house, shoes, food.
Yep.
And like each time I say something, I have all of it. I have all of it. It's like I'm not limited to my resources on life. Like I have I'm living in utopia. We all are.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yep.
Besides socially, for some people, we're living in fucking utopia.
Yeah, because we don't have a grasp or a firm understanding of what other people go through.
No,
like
not at all.
or what, like, bro, we're so fucking lucky to live in America. We're so lucky. Like Sadhguru says that most of the emotional problems are in this world is because our basic needs are too readily available.
Yep.
So instead of waking up and go, wow, how am I going to eat today? The first thing you do is wake up and get on your $1,000 phone.
Because essentially back in
because everything is everything is so readily available. Food, water. You don't have to think about going to get water and collect it and clean it so you can just drink it and be hydrated and be healthy. We don't think about any of that kind of shit.
Not even for yourself, but for other people.
Exactly.
Too.
We don't think about any of the kind of shit because, bro, they're not dumb, bro. They're not fucking dumb.
Yeah.
Everything is fucking calculated. When you start to understand finance, and I think that's the reason that I've always been a conspiracist, but that's why I feel like it's just gone to times 10 when I started trading, because you start to understand finance. It's all a fucking game, bro. When you start to understand the game, you understand why it's going. I was watching the news this morning because our economy is being really affected right now. It's today. There was an event that the Democrats and Republicans had to come up whether they wanted to raise the debt floor. Raise the debt ceiling or not. Yeah. And if they couldn't come to a conclusion, we have a government shutdown. One of the ladies that was a Republican brought up, because I believe we have a Democrat in the Secretary of the Fed. Okay. So the Secretary of the Fed, I believe, is a Democrat. There was something, and don't quote me, 46 or 86 billion dollars was for relief of rents and property owners, right? 85, and this was done, I believe, last year. We're in 2021, creeping up on 2022. 85% of that money has not been spent. So they passed a bill in something surpassing 40. Like I said, I don't want to sound ridiculous because I don't want to misquote it. In the billions, 40 something or 80 something billion dollars, and 85% of that money is still in the account for relief for Americans. What the fuck are they doing with that money?
Yeah, especially in a time where people really
the bill is passed. Yeah. ASAP. So the bill is passed. It was okayed, and they're sitting on billions and billions of dollars that's supposed to be relief for Americans.
What's so crazy is like they're just like numbers. Like they just, excuse me, sorry. They start throwing out the number like 86 trillion or like fucking 10 trillion or like we have $10 trillion towards this relief or $86 billion for this. Like, you know how much fucking money that is?
Yeah, it's wild.
You would die like probably like 100 times over just trying to count to that number.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the shit is so much and you're sitting on it in a time where people are doing what you're telling them to do.
Well, it's basic manipulation, bro. You take people's security away and you put them in a state of fear, which is what we are, COVID, and a lot of people's security got taken away with money.
Yep.
If you take
Jobs
away,
taken away,
so what we think is our security, which we're all secure regardless of where we live or whatever our situation is. And if you believe that you're not, that's when you're constantly living in fight or flight, and that's when you're unhealthy. But they know that. They're not, like I said, they're not dumb, bro. Yep. They do things and we're influenced to keep us in a space of fear and of lack. We don't have a job. We don't have money. We can't pay our rent. We're scared. We're scared. We're scared. We're scared. We're scared. It's not accidental. I mean, you're because they need us. They need us. I mean, they need us to boost the economy. But so how do we put them? You know, how do they put us in a place to be consumers? How do they put us in a place to bow to whatever it is that they have going on? You take away your money, you take away your housing, and okay, now you're able to go back to work. But if you want to go back to work, you got to get a vaccine. Funny how that is now a thing.
And
I don't want to go. I don't even want to. Yeah, that's not want to go in that rabbit hole. That's my fault. That's my fault.
No, it's okay. It's there. I think there is a lot to unpack over that because I think it requires conversation that is. Sorry, I'm gonna switch this. I think it requires conversation that is subjective. I think you need to look at both sides because I think duality is where the answer lies. Even if something seems ridiculous, you kind of have to put your mind on their side and see what they're seeing. But with something that's, we've already done that, you know, and knowing what we know, like I know how to use color to manipulate someone's mind to make them more enticed to a video.
It's all fucking psychological.
So if I can psychologically make someone watch my video.
And you're such a low, if you think about it, you're such a low man on the totem pole too. Yeah. As far as knowledge goes, imagine what they know.
Yeah, and the resources they have.
Resources, yeah.
Bro, they can have an Amber Alert hit your phone and everyone's phone in the state in one click of a button.
Yeah.
And in a fucking restaurant, everyone's phone is going to light up and go nuts. Like,
it's crazy.
Look at that power.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Look at that power of information. And information, unfortunately, creates emotion. And that, it's so crazy. I was meditating this one time, and I was meditating a lot during that time. And it was fucking crazy because I had this insane dream. I told you about this before, but I had this super insane dream where I was walking in this grass field, and there was like, what's that fucking like headless horseman looking dude?
Oh,
or
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, it was like that, but he had a skeleton for a face, a cloak, and he was carrying a television behind him, and it was static, and there was just a bunch of people with like wide eyes, and they were just following it, and he was just riding his horse. And then he said, "Follow me," and I said, "No," and he said, "Okay, go to that tree," and I walked to the tree, and he picked off an apple from it and gave it to me, and I was like, and he was like, "Do you want it?" And for some reason, like, my mind was like, yes, I want it. So I grabbed it and I took a bite from it, and I looked at it, and when I looked at it, it zoomed back, and it was the Apple computer with a bite of knowledge out of it. And I was like,
Weird.
what
Yeah.
the fuck?
Weird.
That shit is so crazy because
I don't know. I don't feel like it's accidental.
no, like it was so fucking nuts because it shook me because that's when I realized, like, it's not, we have the tree, we're eating off the fucking tree of knowledge, you know, we're eating off the tree of knowledge, but people, I think that's what's so, like, I'm not even like a religious person, but that shit was so crazy because there was never a reason in Adam and Eve, like, people always speculated, why shouldn't you eat off that? Like, it's there for you. Why shouldn't you be able to eat if he said that? Because there's no emotional attachment to knowledge. There's only knowledge without emotion that is deceptive, that is manipulative, that controls, that is power, that's raw power.
Yeah.
And bro, that shit hit me so crazy. Like, I was sitting there like, yo, what the fuck? I woke up and I was like, just completely dumbfounded.
Yeah.
So ever since then, I'm like, this shit is like, we're just eating off of it. We're just addicted like fucking crazy.
And they keep feeding us.
Yeah, and they keep feeding us. And we're just eating off that fucking apple. So nuts.
Crazy.
So crazy. But kind of switching to more positive stuff. Congratulations on getting married, brother.
Appreciate it, bro. Yeah. It's crazy. Not something I ever thought earlier in my life that would happen to me, but I mean, it's the biggest blessing. Honestly, it's the biggest blessing. I've gone through so much growth with Kalai and completely changed my life. I mean, I don't believe I think I'd be doing what I'm doing if it wasn't for her.
Yeah, that's all you can ask for. It's crazy finding people in your life that understand you, understand your tendencies, understand your ways, understand kind of how you operate, and can understand how to help you in ways that you need help in. So that's fucking awesome. And I'm like trying to rationalize and prepare for being a dad soon. So that's a whole nother.
We got to do a whole nother conversation just on that.
Yeah.
I feel like we do.
That's something I've always wanted to be like.
It's an insane experience, bro. Like, it's a whole different level of life, and to understand what life is when somebody depends on you. And I don't mean like your girl depends on you to pay the bills. Like, I mean someone, their life, their livelihood, whether they survive or not, literally depends upon you. And it really gives you a sense of purpose, bro. Like, it really gives you a sense of real purpose to wake up every day. And to really
to actually have energy and emotion to get after it and know that you're doing this for a purpose, you know, like an extreme
and purpose. I think what people fail, a lot of fathers, I feel like, or parents in general, fail to realize that it's not what you give the child, it's what the child sees you do. Like, at the end of the day, bro, like, kids don't give a fuck about, because they don't know. They're not on the level of awareness that we are. All they perspective. All they pick up on is what you're doing. They don't care about anything else. Like if I go out and say, well, I'm going out all day and I'm gone all day and because I got to pay the bills. I'm working for you, son. All he fucking cares about whether I come home and play with him or not. He doesn't care how long I'm gone. He doesn't care how hard I work. Like that's why all this hard work and it's just perspective. It's my perspective. It's fucking bullshit. Yeah. Like it's like, what do you really want to leave behind for your kids? I mean, I would rather leave behind characters and principles than anything else. And I will sacrifice whatever I have to sacrifice to leave behind those characters and principles than any type of material item or anything else, because people want to leave behind money for their kids and fail to teach them how to fucking get it. So if he understands how the game works and how life works and how to deal with people and how to manage his emotions, he's going to have his own shit regardless. I'd rather teach him something than give him something.
Yeah. And what is life but a memory?
Yeah, exactly.
Like even this, I mean, tomorrow, this instance right here will be a memory. And being there to create those memories and instill future memories, instill the right choices to create better memories in the future, is what it's all about, So that's a huge thing that I'm like realizing before I actually have kids is like be present, be aware, and like be there for moments in time and try and remember things so vividly. And that's what's so hard about like picking up the camera when I go on a hike or do something, because I'm like, bro, I am so there. I'm involved with people. I'm conversing. I'm seeing everything. I'm a part of everything. And it's tough trying to juggle both in one hand. But like there's a time for this and there's a time for me and my life and my people, and I don't know. It's been a beautiful thing since I've realized that. Like, it's not all about like just constantly creating. It's about constantly creating memories for others and showing up and being there. Yep. And that's what's cool. Eventually, about being a dad is like I'm so fucking pumped for it. Yeah. I'm so stoked. Man.
Good.
I'm so stoked.
Yeah, you should be.
Lacey's like actually the one that's like
chill
I think
out.
We should like kind of like chill. We should save money and like chill. I'm like, nah, come here.
Well, you're never like you said. We said before, you're never gonna be ready, bro.
Never.
Then it's never the opportune time, because there's always gonna be something else to reach for. So, do you just wait and then you wait for the rest of your life, and then it never happens? So, I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Well, is there anything you want to talk about?
No, I don't think so, bro.
All right.
I think we got some good bones in there.
There's some real good quotes. I'm gonna fucking screen grab some of those and just fucking just snip
Let's
those.
go.
Sell them as NFTs, man.
Oh my god.
Make some cash.
Make a fortune.
Let them know who you are. Let them know what you do. Where they can follow
Nasty
you.
Nate Jr. on Instagram. Gonna kind of be rebranding into more self-development. The bike will still be there, but my true passion is self-development. So trying to figure out how to exactly make that rebrand, that switch, and that's where you can find me most. I am on YouTube, not as active yet as I want to be, because like I said, I'm going to kind of switch everything over, I think, all at the same time. So that's what I'm truly passionate about. I mean, I would not be the rider that I am, and I know the rider that I am attracts the people to my page, but I would not be the rider that I am if it weren't for self-development, for, through getting adversity, for understanding the principles of success, because I learned everything on how to be successful and how to achieve a goal through the bike. So if it wasn't for the bike, I wouldn't be who I am. And without the self-development aspect of the bike, I also wouldn't be who I am. So I feel like those two things play a huge role, and people only want to see the bike and want to see the tricks and want to see the dangerous shit. But without who I really am behind that, there would be no fucking Instagram. I mean, there would be no, none of this shit. So that's what I'm truly passionate about. So that's what's going to be coming up next. I'm going to get back into my public speaking and that's just where I'm going to go from there. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, let's get it. I know you got a podcast too, so
Yeah.
Go check his podcast out.
It's called That Talk. Apple Music, Spotify. Like I said, been a little slower on there as well, but those are going to come up and start popping them again.
There's still some over there, so
yeah.
Go check out his old stuff. Go check out his new stuff coming up, and man, look in the mirror and don't be a bitch, dude.
Ask yourself, what are you doing right now,
dude? Also, I did something in the morning. One more before we leave. I walked outside this morning and I stood and I like fucking took a huge deep breath in and just said, I'm happy. And my whole body just like exploded with this crazy
it's gratitude,
like,
bro.
I was like,
gratitude
whoa.
is the ultimate.
Even if I don't believe it, like I believed it this morning because I was really, I am happy.
Yeah.
But I just said it. Even if you're not happy, even if shit's going south and wrong, if you just tell yourself, I'm happy, I'm a happy person, I'm going to be the best person I can be today, you're going to do it. And it's kind of as simple as that. So follow Nate. Thank you for watching. Thank you for looking. Please, if you want to be on, get your ass on here and let's get it.
Hit him up.
All right, brother. Love you, man.
Love you too, bro.
Peace.